Welcome back to Birds of a Feather. This is your daily Baltimore sports podcast. My name is Nathan Stroud, and today we're going to be going over and talking about the official game preview for the Ravens and Lions Monday Night Football game for tomorrow. We're going to be going over the official game preview, the expectations, some of the injury report news for both teams, and just going over kind of how I think that this game is going to be and some things that we need to do to make sure that we get the win in tomorrow's game on Monday night. So obviously, Ravens versus Lions is tomorrow on Monday Night Football. Today is Football Sunday, so there's a ton of games going on today. The Ravens do not play today. They do play tomorrow on Monday night, so we're going to be going over the game tomorrow. So the next episode after this will be tomorrow, going over the game on Monday Night Football and all that stuff. So we're going to be going over the game preview, and we're also going to be talking about the Orioles' 7-1 loss in extras to the New York Yankees today to lose the series 3-1 in the 4-game series. The Orioles were only able to get one win out of the 4 games that they played the Yankees in Baltimore. Obviously, they won 2 days ago. They lost yesterday, lost today, and lost the first game as well. So they do lose this series 3-1 to the Yankees. They're back to being 10 games below 500. This game was 1-1 heading into the ninth inning, after this game was over. It was 1-1. Heading into extras, and in the 10th inning, the Yankees scored 6 runs in the 10th inning and completely squashed any sort of hopes and dreams for a walk-off in this game for the Orioles. So the offense didn't do anything. The pitching was very good for most of the game, all the way up until the 10th inning, and that's obviously where everything just kind of collapsed for the Orioles. So we're going to go over that game, and then we're also going to be going over the game preview for Ravens and Lions, which is what we're going to go over first. So going over the preview here for this Lions and Ravens game. Obviously, it is Monday Night Football tomorrow. Very big game. Primetime, Joe Buck and Troy Aikman are commentating the game. Primetime, Monday Night Football in Baltimore, wearing the blackout uniforms that the Ravens have done very well in over the past few years that they've been wearing them. We usually only wear them, obviously, on primetime games in Baltimore. It's going to be a big game. It's going to be a very, very big game against a very good Detroit Lions team. I think that this game could go either way. I think that this game has a chance to be an absolute shootout between two amazing offenses. You can argue that these are the two best offenses in the league. Obviously, you have teams like the Ravens, you got the Lions, you got the Bills. You got the Chargers, who have looked really good this year. You got the Colts, who have really looked good this year. But when it comes to offenses, the Ravens and the Lions are two teams that people always think of when it comes to the offenses for football and the best offenses in the league. So the Ravens and Lions, this could be an absolute shootout. Both defenses are a little bit not necessarily banged up, but both defenses are a little bit shaky, I'll say. Both defenses have really good names. Obviously, the Ravens have guys like Roquan Smith and Kyle Hamilton, Marlon Humphrey, Nate Wiggins, Madubuike. They have all these great. Well, obviously, we're not going to have Madubuike tomorrow, but the Ravens defense has a ton of good names. Obviously, Malachi Starks, Mike Green as well. And then the Lions also have really good names on defense. You have Aiden Hutchinson, Terrion Arnold, Brian Branch, like Jack Campbell. Like, you have really good names on defense for the Lions as well. But both defenses are pretty shaky. Which leads to, obviously, the offenses being the catapult of the team and really being like the main attraction when it comes to these two teams. When it comes to the Ravens, obviously, you got Lamar Jackson, you have Derrick Henry, you got Zay Flowers, you got Bateman, you got Hopkins. You have an incredible offense with the Lions. Obviously, they got Jared Goff. They got Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. They got Amon-Ra St. Brown. They got Jamison Williams. They got Sam Laporta. The Lions have a squad. The Lions have a really, really good offense. They got an elite receiver, elite running back, a great quarterback, a very, very solid team that the Lions have. So this game could be an absolute shootout. That's kind of the expectation if you go and look at the over-under game odds going into the game. When it comes to the betting odds and just the game odds in general of how Vegas looks at it, the Ravens are favored by 5.5 points. They're favored by 4.5 points in this game. So 4.5 is a pretty, it makes sense. If we go back to week 1 against the Bills, the Ravens were 1.5 point favorites, which pretty much just means that they're slight favorites over the Bills, which made sense. But going into this Lions game, the Lions defense has been pretty shaky this year. Same with the Ravens defense. But the Ravens at home are 4.5 point favorites over the Lions. I think that's kind of like perfect. I think that's the perfect amount. It's not too high, but it's also not too low. So I think that the spread is fine. The over-under in this game is set at 53.5. So 53.5 over-under, that is a very, very high score. This is definitely projected to be one of the highest scoring games of the week. And I think it has a chance to be a classic on Monday Night Football in Baltimore with the blackout uniforms, which I'm so excited for. Those uniforms are absolutely sick. Most of the time when they wear them, really good things happen. So hopefully they can keep that trend up tomorrow. But when we go over and look here at the final injury report, obviously in yesterday's episode we went over the injury report for the Ravens. We talked about everything there needs to be talked about regarding the Ravens injury report. We understand that Calvin Noy, Pat Ricard aren't playing, but we also understand that Isaiah Likely, who practiced throughout the week, was not really necessarily cleared and I guess fully ready to play this game. So Isaiah Likely will pretty much hopefully be available for the Chiefs next week, but they're just playing precautionary. They're making sure that he's good to go, making sure that he's 100%. So Isaiah Likely is going to be out this game, which does hurt. It would be nice to have him back for the first time this year. And then the one that hurts the most, the biggest injury that the Ravens have for sure going into this game, is the Nnamdi Madubuike injury. He's been incredible for the Ravens over the first 2 weeks. He's the best D tackle on the team. He's one of the best defensive players on the team, one of the best D tackles in the NFL. And it does have a neck injury, and this could be something that is worth monitoring because it could actually be something pretty serious, something that can make him go on IR or make him something that even makes him miss the season. So this is something to monitor. But going into this game, the pass rush isn't necessarily going to be on paper too amazing. Obviously, Calvin Noy and Madubuike being out for the pass rush, it does affect the pass rush quite a bit. Those were kind of two of the best guys you had there in terms of getting to the quarterback and stopping the run. And stopping the run is going to have to be a big thing in need for this Ravens team because, again, the Lions have Jahmyr Gibbs and Dave Montgomery, who, in my opinion, it's the best 1-2 punch running backfield in the league. So stopping the run is going to be key. Obviously, holding Jamison Williams from not having big plays, Amon St. Brown not doing his thing. So the Ravens defense has a lot on their plate, but so do the Lions defense. So it's going to be a question of whose defense comes to play. And the Ravens defense is missing some key guys. Madubuike and Calvin Noy, you're going to feel the impact of those guys missing. But Mike Green has looked really incredible over these first 2 games. He's gotten to the quarterback in the snaps that he has had. He's looked great. So Mike Green is going to get a big chance to take a big step up in this game. And also another rookie, and Aeneas Peebles, is going to have a chance to really make a name for himself tomorrow. So hopefully the defense will go out there and do their thing. When we go over to the Lions, they do have some guys on their injury reports. They have 5 guys who are questionable tomorrow. They have Taylor Decker, who is an offensive tackle. He's questionable. We got Jack Campbell, who's one of their better linebackers, who's questionable. Kirby Joseph, who's one of their safeties, is questionable. DJ Reed, who's a corner, is questionable. And Maurice Norris, who has a concussion, is questionable. So the Lions don't have any for sure outs in this game. They do have 5 guys who are questionable, and all of these guys are on defense pretty much, other than Taylor Decker. So the Lions could be without some really key defensive guys as well. So overall, I do think that this game could be an absolute shootout. I could see maybe both teams scoring 40 points, like very similar to Week 1, or maybe something like a high 20s, low 30s, mid 30s type game. So it's going to be very exciting. It's going to be a very big game. Both teams, every possession is going to mean so much because there's realistically a chance where both teams could score on literally every drive that they have, but it's going to come come down to which defense comes to play. It's going to come down to which defense can stop each other first. And more importantly, it's going to come down to which defense really does understand and have the game plan for the week. Obviously, when it comes to the Baltimore Ravens, it is very, very hard to prepare for the Ravens because, again, they have someone like Derrick Henry who is an extremely unique running back and somebody who is very hard to prepare for. And then you probably have the hardest quarterback to prepare for, maybe in NFL history, in Lamar Jackson in terms of preparing for a quarterback. I saw that the Lions, they signed the Lions were signing, people from the Ravens, signed people to their practice squad to imitate Lamar Jackson, which is funny, but we'll see what the Lions do. The Lions defense is shaky. The Ravens defense is shaky. We'll see which defense comes to play tomorrow. I expect both offenses to go out there firing on all cylinders. The last time that the Ravens and Lions played, it was a couple of years ago where the Lions were doing really good. They had a really good offense. They were showing everybody how good they were, and they were on fire. And so were the Ravens. And the Ravens went out there and absolutely killed the Lions in that game and won 34-7 or something like that. in that game. So the Ravens understand it, and a lot of the times when it's both like two really high-scoring teams, usually the Ravens go out there and take care of business. But just for the Ravens especially, I mean, we've seen this even back in Week 1. Just do not lose to yourself. Keep everything in front of you. Do not do anything. Like, if the Ravens have a 10 to 15 point lead in the fourth quarter, or even at the end of the third quarter, hold that lead. Do not do anything dumb to put yourself in a position to lose this game, especially if you have a lead, and just do the simple things correctly and you move forward. If the Ravens can win this game, they'll be 2-1 heading into Week 4 against Kansas City in Kansas City. But if they lose this game, they'll be 1-2 heading into Kansas City. And not just heading into Kansas City, they'll be playing a hungry Kansas City team, because right now the Chiefs are 0-2. They are playing in about like 20 minutes on primetime against the Giants, and if the Chiefs win, they'll be 1-2. So going into next week, no matter what happens, the Chiefs will be very hungry for a win. So we're going to get the best Chiefs that we possibly can in terms of mentality of wanting to win, because they are going to be really on the edge when we play them next week. So we got to make sure that we go out here and get a win tomorrow against the Lions, go to 2-1, and then hopefully next week we can go beat the Chiefs, be 3-1, and then you move forward from the season there. But when we go over here and actually look at the standings in the NFL, there was some wins today, obviously, but some teams was some losses, like it how it goes. But when we look at the AFC North, which is what we're going to be focusing our attention on, the Browns did get a win today. They beat the Packers on a walk-off field goal, which is really surprising. So shout out to the Browns. So the Browns beat the Packers. They are now 1-2. So the Browns are currently sitting in last at 1-2. The Ravens are third in the division at 1-1. Obviously, they still have a game to play. The Steelers are 2-1, and the Bengals are 2-1. So the Ravens going out here in Week 3 and getting a win to tie the Steelers and the Bengals in wins would be so important for this team. The Bengals look like an absolute mess without Joe Burrow, so I don't really expect that their record to hold up the way that it is. The Steelers also didn't really look great today. They came away with a win at the very end, and a last-second scratch win over the Patriots. If the Ravens can go to 2-1, it will really increase their chances of winning this division, because I do think that they can win the division, obviously. The Steelers and the Bengals have both played games today, and the Ravens still have more total points forwarded than them, which is crazy. It just kind of goes to show the dominance. The Ravens have had 81 points through 2 games of this season. So again, we understand how incredible this Ravens offense has been. 40 points in the first 2 games. Hopefully they can keep that up tomorrow. But winning tomorrow would really help our chances of winning the division, because the Bengals and the Steelers are both 2-1. You don't really want to fall into that 1-2 hole in the division. And the Steelers, I would say, would be the biggest competition for the division, because the Bengals looked like an absolute mess today in their loss without Joe Burrow. So I don't really know how they're going to look moving forward. But as it stands right now, the Ravens, if they can get to 2-1, that'll be very good for them. But switching sports over to the Orioles and Yankees game. The Orioles and Yankees game went into extra innings, went into the 10th inning, where unfortunately that was the last inning of the game that the Orioles played, because the Orioles lost 7-1 in extras. And I know what you're thinking. How did this game go into extras when you lost by 6 runs? Like, how is that even possible? And the answer to that is, the Yankees scored 6 runs in the 10th inning to make it 7-1 and lose. And obviously the Yankees get the win. This game was tied 1-1 going into the 10th inning. After 9 full innings, obviously goes into extras. It was a 1-1 game. Both teams were really struggling on offense, but the pitchers were doing well. Went into extras 1-1, and then Keegan Aiken, Geraldo, just not a great performance by the bullpen late in this game. And when I say late, I'm talking about the 10th inning. So in the 10th inning, obviously the Yankees scored 6 runs. They had 2 homers. Jazz Chisholm had a home run. Ben Rice had a grand slam. So overall, the 10th inning was an absolute disaster. And of course it had to happen that way. Of course, this game is tied 1-1, and then in the 10th inning, the Yankees just go score 10 runs. So, of course that would happen, but going over this offense, the Orioles offense today only had 4 hits, so once again a very rough offensive day. Yesterday the Orioles only had 4 hits. Today the Orioles only had 4 hits. So today the Orioles had 4 hits. They scored 1 run on those 4 hits, and the only run they scored was from a Samuel Basallo solo home run out to left field. Out to right field, back by the flag courts up by Utah Street. Samuel Basallo got a solo home run in this game, which is nice to see. Very good to see Samuel Basallo obviously get a home run in this game. But that was the only run scored by the Orioles. So 4 hits, 1 run. It was a solo home run. But going over this offense, Jackson Holliday went 1 for 5. Dylan Beavers went 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts. Gunnar Henderson went 0 for 4. Ryan Mountcastle went 0 for 5 with 4 strikeouts. So really bad day for Ryan. Samuel Basallo 1 for 4 with a solo home run. Was responsible for the only run scored in this game by the Orioles. So shout out to Basallo. He did his thing today. Jeremiah Jackson went 1 for 2. Colton Cowser went 0 for 2 with 2 walks and 2 strikeouts. Kobe Mayo went 1 for 4, and Dylan Carlson went 0 for 3. So nice to see Kobe Mayo, continue to do well here in the month of September. Obviously, good to see Basallo get his home run today. But that was all pitching wise, or hitting wise. That was literally all. That was all that we did hitting wise. But going over to the pitching, Kyle Bradish got the start in today's game, and he was incredible. 6 innings, 2 hits, 2 walks, 1 run across 6 innings, and also had 9 strikeouts in those 6 innings. A 91 pitch count across 6 innings. Again, 6 innings, 1 run, 9 strikeouts. Very, very good day from Kyle Bradish. That is an ace type of day. That is what we know he can do. Him and Trevor Rogers are going to be a hell of a 1-2 punch next year, going into next year. Or maybe we'll go out there and sign like a Ranger Suarez or a Framber Valdez or something that can be higher up in our rotation. But as it stands right now, Bradish and Rogers are the 2 best pitchers on this team. They look like they're going to be co-aces going into 2026, so that is very exciting. And something that's very exciting to look forward to into next year. Kyle Bradish sitting at a 2.25 ERA in his 4 or 5 starts this season so far. So shout out to Kyle. It's obviously so good to see him back pitching for the Orioles. And then Dietrich ends. 1 inning, didn't give up a run. Rico Garcia, 1 inning, didn't give up a run. Cade Stroud gets the loss in this game, gave up a run. Keegan Aiken gave up 3 runs in the 10th inning, and Geraldo gave up another run. So Geraldo and Aiken pretty much the game completely collapsed on them. Not a great showing, and Cade Stroud as well. Stroud, Aiken, and Geraldo all didn't really play great in this game when it came to, extra innings, late game. But overall, not a great game for the Orioles. It was going, fine, I guess, for literally the first 9 innings, and then in the 10th inning, everything completely flipped on its head. So there is now officially 2 more series left this season for the Orioles. If we go over here and we look at the season, there is only 6 more games remaining in the 2025 Baltimore Orioles season. We have a day off tomorrow on Monday. So a day off tomorrow on Monday. It's going to be completely the Ravens' day. Obviously, Ravens play Monday Night Football. Tomorrow's episode, we're going to be going over that entire Monday Night Football game in detail. So Ravens obviously take priority tomorrow. But Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, they play Tampa Bay in Baltimore for their last home series of the year. And then this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, they go on the road in New York against the Yankees to close out the year. So again, 6 more games this year, 3 games at home, 3 games on the road. This upcoming Tampa series is the last home series of the year. And then we will play New York in New York to end the year against the Yankees. So going over the pitching assignments for the Orioles at least, you got Dean Kramer on Tuesday, Tyler Wells on Wednesday, Cade Povich on Thursday, Trevor Rogers on Friday, Sagano on Saturday, and Kyle Bradish on Sunday. So we're going to get to see the full 6-man rotation one more time this year. Kramer, Wells, Povich, Rogers, Sagano, Bradish. That is the final. That's really the 6-man rotation that the Orioles have as of right now, and that's what it's going to look like closing out the year. Again, 6 more games, 2 more series left, 1 at home, 1 on the road. It's really getting to the end of the year, guys. It's really getting to the end of the year, and it's been a hell of a season. It's been a lot going on, obviously. And as we stand right now on September 21st, we're at 73 and 83. So over these next 6 games, obviously I would love for the Orioles to maybe go 4-2 or 5-1 or even 6-0 over these next 6. So a little goal that I want to kind of set just for the Orioles, hopefully, is that they can go above 500 in these next 6 games. If they can go 4-2 or 5-1 or obviously 6-0 in these next 6, that would be really, really cool to see. A lot of teams fighting for playoff spots. The Rays are officially out of the playoffs. The Yankees are still fighting. The Yankees are going to get in, but they're fighting for seeding purposes. But overall, 6 more games left. It's almost at the end of the year. Obviously, we're going to be doing a season recap video the day after the MLB season ends. We're going to be doing a full season recap. We're going to be going over all the kind of storylines, the injuries, all the stuff that's happened this year regarding the Orioles, which should be a lot of fun. Kind of like a not like a reunion, but kind of like an end of the school year type vibe thing, where we just kind of look back at all the best moments throughout the year, and also the lows, the highs, and everything in between. So we'll do that, obviously, probably next Monday. That episode will drop after the season ends, but we still got pretty much one more week of MLB baseball, so enjoy it while it's here. And yeah. But thank you guys so much for tuning into and listening to this episode of Birds of a Feather. If you like this content, make sure to subscribe on YouTube. Follow up on Spotify. Also make sure to like the video as well on YouTube. And also make sure to click the link in the bio of whatever platform that you're listening on, either Spotify or YouTube. Make sure to click the link in the bio to check out the Instagram, check out the Twitter. Make sure to follow the Twitter. All live game updates, live updates on anything going on regarding Baltimore sports I post, giving my raw reactions to on Twitter first. And then most of the time I'll obviously record an episode afterwards as well, or right as something big happens. And then also make sure to follow the Instagram. I post updates on every single time an episode is uploaded, so you never miss an upload. And yeah, thank you guys again for all the support. I'll be back again tomorrow for the Ravens and Lions game recap. Hopefully the Ravens can win. The Ravens can move to 2-1, and then obviously starting on Tuesday will be the final 6 games of the Orioles season. So I appreciate you guys so much. You have a great rest of y'all's day. Go O's, go Ravens, and I'll see y'all later. Peace out.